welcome back to the Wellsworth Garage. The weather's beautiful here today, and what we're going to do is give Lucy a much needed bath. The car's been stored for, as we know, for about 10 plus years in a barn, and before we can really assess the quality of the paint and what we can do to clean that up, we need to get the car squeaky clean. So the first step today is we're going to show you the process that we would use here on a regular basis to detail and update a car like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out with the wash, and we'll show you this step by step. But the first part of this process is going to be spraying the car with a high quality automobile soap. Today we're going to use one of our favorites here, Super Suds. We're going to be putting that on with the Tornado foam gun. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off, we're going to give her a gentle rinse down and get it nice and damp, and then we're going to spray on the foam and have that gently lift away the dirt. All right, now that we've got it good and wet, now we're going to apply the car soap, and we're going to use the Tornado. Once that's had a chance to soak in, lift the dirt off, I'm just going to use a lambskin wash mitt and gently rub this. We've done some test work on the paint, and obviously it doesn't have clear coat on it, and we want to be as gentle as we can before we do any type of heavy-duty polishing, compounding, anything like that. And so right now, we're just going to see what comes off with just with a gentle wipe and rinse like this, and we're going to start with that just to assess the quality of the paint once we get the dirt off. We're going to be careful with how we spray the water on because we're not sure how watertight the car is just yet, so this is going to be one of our first clues. We also know we're missing some of the weather stripping around some of the doors. We're in the process of restoring that. So we're just going to be a little extra careful and not flood the car too much. We don't want to make any more problems for ourselves. So we're continuing on with the wash. We're finding that the dirt that's on the car, it's so embedded that one wash isn't bringing it off. Okay, well now that we've got the car washed thoroughly, we probably had to wash it 3 times to get off the dirt. We know that there's a lot of dirt still embedded into the surface of the paint, and really the only way to get that off is by claying the car. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a good quality clay bar, and we're going to use as our lubricant our Grand Finale showroom spray wax. We'll put links to both of these products in the description below. But what we're going to do is we're going to go over the car inch by inch in sections at a time until we've got each section of the car clayed. That will really get out any of the embedded dirt. We'll probably have to then give the car a good wash again before we go on to the next step, which will be the paint prep and or polishing of the paint to see what we can do and bring this back to life. So there's not really any secret or special skills required to clay the car. What you're going to do is, and I think some people can be intimidated when they hear that process, oh, how do I do that? What are the steps involved, all the rest of it? It's pretty straightforward. You've got your clay bar. which you do want to keep this clean from contaminants. If you drop it on the floor or into the sand or whatever, unfortunately, it's pretty much unusable at that point. You're going to have to throw it out and start over. So you really want to be careful with how you handle it and just keep it in only contact with the car. So it's pretty straightforward. We're going to get a few spots on the roof here that look like tree sap. We'll come back and tackle those separately. But right now, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but you can also see red. So we don't have clear coat on this car. This is an old original paint job, as far as we can tell, from 1973. But you can see, hopefully if the camera focuses on that, you can see the red on there, but you can also see the black. I mean, this was a perfectly brand new clay bar right out of the package, and it's already turning black. So what you want to do is continue to sort of like fold it over on itself so that you get a clean surface exposed, and that will prevent you from rubbing in the dirt and debris that you collect as you're doing this clay. So I'm going to take that clay, I'm going to fold it over, I'm going to pinch it onto itself, almost like silly putty, get it into a ball, and now I'm going to stretch it back out to where I've got a nice sort of fresh surface to work with again for the next wipe down. You won't be able to tell as much with a paint job like this that's 50 years old, but if you've got a newer car, especially one that's got clear coat, which most cars have, I don't know when they started doing that, but most cars will have clear coat on them. You rub your hand over a car after you've washed it that hasn't been clayed, and then rub your hand over the car after it's been clayed, and you're going to feel a complete difference in terms of how your hand slides over that surface. Right. So where we last left off on the detailing of the car and bringing the paint back to life, we had done the very thorough washing, and then we went through the step-by-step of claying your car. And now we're ready really to start polishing the car and bringing the paint back to life. But before we do that completely, we've got a few surface defects and then a little bit of body work. We tried our hand at a little bit of the paintless dent removal. Mixed results on that one. But in any event, we're going to need some touch-up paint to blend in some of the defects here. And the body shops that we've been talking to have said, hey, if we could bring in a body part, they would match the paint so that we would get as close a match as possible. So what we're going to do today is we're not going to polish the entire car. We're really just going to focus on just this fuel filler door. And what we're hoping to do is polish this. This is only held in by a couple of screws. We'll take this over to the automotive paint supply store, see if they can get a good match off this, get some paint mixed up, and then do a little bit of the touch-up work and bring the paint back to life completely so that we'll have no surface defects, some way to fill in the paint chips in here and there and make it look even better than it already looks. So let's start with the polishing. So we're going to put a little dab on our pad here. Anybody who's done this before, we really don't need much, and since we're really only doing a very, very small area, we really don't need much. I don't know if you can hear me over the noise here, but the idea is to move it back and forth till you see the compound basically blending into the surface. you'll pretty quickly be able to see your results here. With today's modern buffing machines, it's almost a foolproof process. All right, let's take a look at how we did. We did some paint correction work on just the fuel filler door. The idea was to get this in as good a shape as possible so that we could take it to the automotive paint store and get something that was going to be matched as close as possible to the color that's on the car right now. We've learned, through some of our digging and experimenting here that this is not the original paint, so it didn't even bother make sense looking up what the original paint color was because we have no idea that this is. We knew this wasn't original. So in any event, we were able to do that. We narrowed it down. We got it cleaned up. Took it to the automotive paint store. They used their little spectrometer type of gizmo on it and mix us up a batch of some single stage urethane paint that we will put on the car as soon as the weather cooperates. It's a little cold in the warehouse right now to do any of that work, but we're really happy that we've got something to go with from right now and excited to see what it looks like once we put it on the car.